Howdy folks, it's David from Bonkers Cookery School. How you doing? As I promised, here's a video for the 12-hour potatoes. This is a bit nuts, this one. Just to give you a kind of idea of what we're trying to do. We're gonna, first of all, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna peel a load of potatoes, about a kilo and a bit of potatoes, just reasonable sized potatoes. I've got finest, Tesco's finest all-rounder, so it does a bit of everything because I need it for the mash tomorrow. So I'm going to thinly slice these on a mandolin. If you haven't got one of these, because these are quite dangerous, use a knife, but I'll show you how to use that as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slice them, then we're going to put them in this loaf tin, okay? In between the layers, which I'll show you in a second, we're going to put some sprigs of thyme, salt, pepper, and some goose fat or duck fat, whatever you can get hold of. I think one jar is going to do it. I said 2 jars. If you've got 2 jars, use them for roast potatoes. But 1 jar is going to do it, okay? Because once you've got the potatoes in there, the fat will dissipate around all the potatoes. The idea is you cook it nice and slow on a fan-assisted oven, about 150, about number 4, number 5 on gas, nothing too high. You're going to cook it for about 2 hours, something like that. Nice and slow. All you want to do is slowly cook the potatoes, all right? Then what you're going to do is when the potatoes come out the oven, you're going to put them in the fridge. And what this does is it makes the fat set. Then tomorrow, so the video will show you how to get it in the oven, right? But once we're done, tomorrow I'll show you how to cut it, and then we're going to deep fry it in just normal vegetable oil, okay? So here we go. I'm going to bring the camera down, it ain't going to take that long, and I'll show you the peeled potatoes and how I'm going to slice them, okay? So there you go, peeled the potatoes. So there's our peeled potatoes, that's all we need. And I've got a loaf tin, okay? And I've got my thyme, and I've got my salt, and let's go and get my pepper mill. So we're ready to rock. So this is a mandolin, about 26 quid one of these. Dangerous, but I'm braving it here. I'm not going to risk it, so I cut my hand off. But literally, you want to slice it nice and thin. So you take the mandolin, and you've got nice thin slices. Might even be able to go thicker than that. Let's go a bit thicker. There you go, lovely. Now watch, I'll keep my fingers nice and flat, and my thumb out the action, and take your time. Once it gets too dangerous, you stop. Don't matter about leaving that. And that's your nice potatoes there. Let's do another bit. Okay. I'm going to do this in real time so you can see me. If you see me slice my fingers off, turn away. But it won't happen. I'll say that now. I said it won't happen. I'm doomed. There you go. Done. See? Not taking any risks there. Don't want to go to doctors today. There you go. Take your time. Whenever you use one of these, always take your time. Watch how I keep my fingers out of the way and you use the palm of my hand to push it through. The trouble is with potatoes is once they get starchy, they stick. Once you feel it stick, you lift your hand away and you ain't going to cut your fingers off. Okay? Once it gets blunt, then you don't touch it at all, you're going to get a new one. Alright? I'm watching this every step of the way, so I'm not doing anything stupid. Right, I'm going to do those one. That's the end of the mandolin. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my knife. I'm going to show you how to cut it by hand if you want to risk it for a biscuit. Now, let me just get a plate to put these on. Keep these out of the way. Right, nice and thin, perfect. They're going to take a while to cook, about an hour, hour and a half maybe. I said 2 hours earlier, but the thing is, it's about checking it, isn't it? What you've got to do is, once it cooks, you want to be able to put a knife through it. That's all you've got to do. Right, so here we go. So notice I've got my hands clawed, my thumb behind the potato, and my knife there. Take the first bit off there, so you've got a nice flat edge to work with. If you want, another little trick is to cut the bottom, so it's nice and flat, it doesn't move anywhere. No one's going to notice. Then what you do, cut the first one as thin as you can. Then what you do is you bring your fingers back, keep your knife straight, and just bring it down. Then what you do is, as you cut, move your fingers, first 3 fingers back, nice and slow. And the idea is not to think about this blade, but move the top. If you move it right or left, it'll go thicker or thinner. Okay? Nice. Nice even slice. I'm quite happy with those. Okay? And that's how you do it. This is going to be more, every now and then, give the knife a wipe. And cut it. That's it. Beautiful. Okay, there's your slices, easy peasy. Move the scraps to one side. Now, I'm going to do the final one on the mandolin because I want this next lot to be a little bit thinner, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Right, so this one's a bit bigger. If you don't use all these up, you can use them for something else. So basically, this is like a bolognese, which is like an onion, potato and stock. But in this case, we're using fat. And the reason for that, we could use butter if you want, or cream, it don't matter. But what that means is that when we fry it on the final cook, it crisps up. Right, these potatoes we'll put away for a rainy day. Okay, now let's bring these in. Bring the beat in. So, next thing we're going to do is lightly rinse these off. So I'm going to just put them, not too much. The starch is not a bad thing sometimes. You just want to wash a bit of it off because it's got a bit of a funny flavour. Here we go. Now what you do, first off the bat, get the thyme and just sprinkle a little bit in the bottom, okay, of your roasting tray. I've lined it with a bit of greaseproof, not too much. You want each layer to have a little bit in, just to give it a bit of flavour. Now the recipe I saw online didn't have any of this, so then we do, grab some potato. Let me bring the camera in a little bit and you can see it a bit more detail. Let's check that you can see that. That's more like it, there you go. Right, cool. And then what you do, you just layer it in. Get those potatoes in, put them in. Doesn't matter what order, but you want to try and get them into these corners. Alright? Like that. Alright? And get about 3 lots in. All the way along, like that. It doesn't matter really. Then, a light season, okay, bit of pepper, and then what we're going to do, now the goose fat, if you leave it in room temperature, it'll be solidified like that. Put it in the fridge, it'll set. And what you want to do, grab a tablespoon, do the first layer of fat, alright, like that, not too much, look, alright, that's it. Then, next one, get the layers in. Honey, honey, dee, 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 dee. Right, that's that. Get them in. Notice I'm layering it up. Make sure it's nicely layered, like that. Then, push them in. Try to be as systematic as possible. A few bits of thyme just to get the flavours going. And you're going to repeat this process until you fill up the container. Alright, like that. That's great. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. That's it. Then some fat. Bring it in. That's it. This is going to seal the deal. The fat's important because we want it to permeate the potatoes. Then, let's go again. I'm going to try and put some small ones here to kind of make it even it out a bit. See that? You see the odd gaps here and there? And what we're going to do is we're going to push it in a little bit more. push it in. Push it in. Don't worry about if it bulges too much in the centre, it will do naturally. Because what's gonna happen is when we cook this, we're going to press it. What I mean by that is we're going to put some paper on top. So when this comes out the oven, put some paper on top, greaseproof paper, and you put some weight on it. Could be some cups, could be anything you like. And salt, pepper, and repeat the process. Now we're going to do this a few more times. Yes, it's got loads of fat. It's creeping up already. If you pour that all in, it will saturate it, so that'll be fine. Notice, repeat the process all over. Get that in there, get that in there. That's it. There you go, another one, getting higher and higher every time. Another season, another pepper. The seasoning is really important because potatoes are quite bland. They always need a little bit of a boost of flavour. And then what the thyme does, it just gives it that bit of flavour there. Just that little bit of, it's a bit more, you know. Don't want to go too mad on the fat. Alright. Remember, when you push it, every time I push it down, the fat comes over the top. So it's always in between each layer. That's going to be the key to this. Then one more. Let's do it again. Let's see how many layers we can get. I don't want to go too high. I want to get to probably the top of the greaseproof. Because you don't want it too big. There you go. It's all right. So that's the last layer, folks. So there you go, just like that. Last layer, and then we pour the rest over the top like that. Right, that is it. So I've got not many potatoes left, but I'm gonna leave it like that. So we've got our layered potatoes. We've used like a jar, there you go. Seasoned up. Not going to season the top, don't need it. Right, we're going to leave it like that. It's going to be enough there. Once it cooks, it's going to cook down anyway. Right? Let's move that out of the way. Now, I've set this for about 150, 160. Check it after about an hour. If it needs a little bit more, give it a bit more. But nice and gentle heat. You don't want it too hot, right? Top shelf, dive it in the oven, okay? I've put it in the oven, right, hello. So I've put it in the oven now. I'm going to leave it for about an hour, hour and a half, check it, and then see how it turns out, all right? And then in the morning, when you bring it out, put a little bit of greaseproof over the top and just sit some weights on it, a couple of tins of beans or a couple of mugs, just to put some pressure on it, okay? On top of the greaseproof and leave it in the fridge to cool down, all right? Then tomorrow, when we do bonkers at 3 o'clock, we're going to bring it out of the fridge and see how it looks, all right? So that's the first stage. In the oven, leave it to cook for a bit, all right? Check it, get a fork or a skewer, put it in, and you shouldn't feel any force all the way to the bottom of the dish, okay? You should be able to go in and out, and it shouldn't take no pressure at all, right? Check it after about an hour. If it's not cooked by then, give it another half an hour, check it, and it should, you know, between an hour and 2 hours, all right? So that's the first stage of our 12-hour potatoes, okay? And I will, and then join me Sunday at 3 o'clock where we finish the dish and we do some mash and we do some other things, all right? So look after yourselves and have a good remainder of your day. Take care, bye.